JD Pickell, you can find him on X at JD Pickell. And, of course, check him out on on3.com. Check out his show on YouTube and more. He is on your radio. JD, welcome in, brother. How you doing?
Brad, pleasure to be on with you, man. Jake, pleasure to be on with you, brother. I appreciate you having me, man.
Absolutely, always, and continuing to do great stuff on the Hard Count. You can check that out on on3.com, also YouTube as well. All right, college football playoff. Want to get your take on everything moving and shaking in college football. Maybe a couple teams as we head towards spring practice. But your thoughts on what has transpired this week with the 12-team playoff, the 5+7 model, and, oh, by the way, you shake hands if you're in that room, and then all of a sudden the SEC and Big Ten says, yeah, but maybe we want to expand it to 14 in a couple of years. Maybe we want some, we want our shake of for this and for that. Your thoughts of everything going on right now?
Yeah, I think there's a couple of different emotions because I was truthfully always on the side of like, hey, let's stay at 4. 4 is great. 4 is enough for us. We don't need to get too crazy with this playoff field because obviously the more playoff games we have here, the less the regular season games are going to matter. So I was always, kind of kicking and screaming, but I'm like, all right, if we're going to go with a 12-team playoff, the 5+7 model makes a lot of sense. First thought I had was, okay, well, what happens to Notre Dame? And what happens when we get to this point where, it's one thing to say, all right, hey, we're cool not joining a conference. The NBC money, that's good now, Jake. You and I both know, hey, that's a lot of zeros that I'm sure are treating them just fine. But, you get to the point where, all right, what if Notre Dame is an undefeated number 1 team in the country? Well, they're not playing in the conference championship game. So by this 5-7 model, they're going to have to still play a first-round game. Now, it'd probably be in South Bend, so I'm sure that'd be nice. But, to have to play another game, let's say they drop that game and get upset by somebody, like, all right, it's a whole different story about what you want to do in the long term. So to answer your thought, though, about, expanding this playoff even more, it's tough because I think now more than ever we really need someone to regulate college football. The tough part is we have a lot of guys in a room that, to no fault of their own, they're all acting in their own interest, and that's their job. Like, they're supposed to represent the SEC and the Big Ten and the ACC and the Big 12, and so, they're all acting in the best interest of their conferences and not necessarily what's best for college football. And the poor guys with the ACC and the Big 12 are kind of at the mercy of those holding the cards, which is, of course, the other two conferences. So it's all wild. It's all, if you know the book, if you give them out the cookie, they're going to want some milk. If you give the college football playoff some expansion, they're going to want more and more spots. So we'll see what happens here. But, yeah, it's absolutely wild times in college football.